Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast presents episode 666, Grifball Throwback, recorded live on January 31st, 2019. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am your host, The Storm.
And I'm your co-host, Godzilla T.
And we are joined by a very special guest, our first guest of 2019, all the way over from playgriffball.com. We are happy to have Rage More Nerd on the show. Welcome to Podtacular.
Hello, thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, it's been a while coming down the pipeline. I think that from the old days of Grifball Hub, finally kind of getting some Grifball action back on the podcast was long overdue, so we're glad to have you on the show.
Happy to be here.
Cool. So we have Rage on to talk about the latest season of Play Grifball, which is actually diving back into Halo 3 on MCC. So we'll get to talking about that a little bit later. We have a lot of news to cover, which we're going to try to get through quickly so we don't keep Rage waiting too long, since we were off for 2 weeks, since I was in Germany last week, which was awesome. Let's start off with GT and the play dates that we had on Fragment Fridays. Actually, two, since we had our last podcast. So how do we do, GT?
Well, let's see. The last week we had a podcast. We did MCC. Had loads of fun. Spent most of it in Big Team.
As we do.
We had, overall had a pretty good night. We were using the map composer or match composer, whatever you want to call it. And we went most of the night before I had to remove Halo 3.
The last time you did it, you didn't have to remove Halo 3, right? And this time you had to.
This time we got a few runs right in a row of Halo 3, and I'm like, okay, enough of this. But, overall, it's a really good night. Got to, we played some of the Super Fiesta, so it was interesting.
Yeah.
It's not as much fun as Halo 5 Fiesta, Super Fiesta, but it's still fun.
Sure.
And then last week we played Halo 5. We did go in and we played some Warzone. We pretty much jumped into that pretty quickly. I think we only played one or two games of Super Fiesta to start things off, and then we went right into Warzone, and we got our butts handed to us a couple of times. Got cored once.
Okay.
Which was actually surprising. It seems like nobody seems to go for the cores anymore. Because, all the rest of the games we won on points.
Yeah. You don't see it that often. I can't remember the last time I had a core victory, actually.
I mean, it wasn't like we weren't trying to go for the core, but it just, with the way they've worked the points now, that you can really just go on score, and it doesn't make the game oppressively long. So that's really nice. Cool.
So we got this Friday coming up, and which one are we on now?
We're back on MCC.
Back on MCC. Cool.
Like I said, we were on Halo 5 last week, so we'll be on MCC this week.
All right. And did you have a chance to? I think you had an Achieving Halo stream, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. How'd that go?
No, that was 3 weeks ago.
Okay, that was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've been otherwise occupied for the last couple of weeks. Things are, can't divulge much, but things are starting to get interesting in my life, and there's probably going to be some things that will be changing. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to affect me as far as my free time, but there's going to be some changes in my life soon, and it could either go good or it could go bad.
Well, let's pray it goes good.
Well, even the good thing is kind of one of those is it a good thing?
Yeah, I can see that.
It's going to be interesting. I've been doing a lot of research as of recently, so I do plan on getting at least 3 episodes of the Achieving Halo uploaded this weekend, so we'll start doling those out here pretty quickly.
Whoa.
And I will continue, regardless of what happens with my life, continue to work on that. And if things happen where even if I'm still not active with Podtacular, I will make sure that we get those done. And that way we can have them out there for people.
Well, thanks for working on those. Sure, the community really appreciates it.
Oh, there was one interesting fact last week that we kind of ran across someone you may know. He's kind of big on YouTube. We actually ran across Ubernick.
Oh, that's fun.
We did not fare so well.
Yeah.
We got smoked. Anyway.
Should have tweeted him out on stream saying, thanks for the...
Well, he wasn't streaming.
Oh.
He wasn't streaming. One of his teammates was, and I can't think of his name. Well, if I remember it, I'll say something. I did hop over to his stream and say thanks for the good game.
Cool. That's awesome.
I thought about putting thanks for not totally embarrassing us.
Yeah. Very nice. All right. So for me, nothing as far as achievement streams. Obviously, a couple Sundays ago, I was on a flight to Germany. Last weekend, I did actually hop on to play a little bit with Bobby, but for some reason my webcam was acting up, so didn't get on stream to do it. But I have started working on Halo Wars from the 360, and we are working right now through Heroic campaign, and our idea for the stream is going to be chipping away at Heroic campaign and then doing a couple of onesie-twosie achievements to make it where I'm still getting achievements, but then working towards some of the more difficult ones like Heroic completion, co-op completion, all the special bonuses, general rank, all that stuff. So I have plenty to intersperse in there. I think I have 20 achievements on 360 Halo Wars to do, and then I have, of course, Definitive Edition to do, so there'll be plenty of that to do.
Yeah, some of those achievements are best done on lower difficulties.
Yes. Yeah, but there are some that you have to, I think you have to get gold Heroic on every mission.
Yeah, there are some that you'll have to do on Heroic. On Arcadia, you have to protect both transports. I believe you have to do it on Heroic. In other words, you can't let either transport die.
I may have that achievement already. I think I may have gotten that one with Chucky J way back in the day.
You know, well, you get to do it again for definitive, so.
Bobby said that there is potential for other people to grind with the general achievement, and yeah, we're looking at if anyone wants to hop in on getting some of the Halo Wars achievements, especially the general rank one, then if you got Sunday evenings available, then feel free to hop on in. We will gladly help anyone and take the help we can get.
Luckily, I've already completed Halo Wars.
Even Definitive Edition?
No, just Halo Wars.
Oh, okay.
I think I've played one mission on the Definitive Edition. Nice. I got sucked into Halo Wars 2, and then I totally forgot about the Definitive Edition.
Are you trying to go for 100%?
It's they would like to do. I really need to get on. I really need to get busy and start working on the 360 games and finishing those up. Especially Halo Reach and Halo 4.
Halo 3 is my big one because I believe I have every Halo Reach achievement. I think I'm missing one on Halo 4, possibly if it's the Ricochet one. And then Halo 3, I have three No, I have 4 of the FFA ones.
Yeah.
I think it's Step and Razor, the Killing Frenzy one, the Laser one, and Mongoose Mowdown. I think those are the 4 I'm missing.
Yeah, the Mongoose Mowdown I got by sheer accident.
I think for that one, that's usually how you have to do it.
Ray John, I know you're
probably
back
not
in the
as-
day. Those achievements we used to go back and change the language that we played on, and search those because they have such a low population. But everyone in those languages were all doing the same thing. So you find your lobby and everyone's achievement hunting, and it was usually Mongoose Mowdown and the 2-for-1 laser. Those are just the most difficult to get in any actual game.
I have to admit that I got lucky. I went into free for all and to get that 2-for-1 Spartan laser kill, and I was on Snowbound. It was King of the Hill, and 2 of the players happened to notice that I wasn't hanging around the hill, that I was always running over to laser spawn, and they were kind enough to line up for me in the hill.
That's awesome.
And I'm like,
there are good people out there.
So for the rest of the game, all I did was shoot everybody else and to help them try to win the match.
Cool.
That's how you make friends for life.
That's how you do it.
But it's like nobody had. Well, I had my mic on, but nobody else had their mic on, so nobody was listening or anything. So it was really nice. Yeah,
That's
in
awesome.
Halo Reach, I've got 2 left. Don't touch that. And Paper Beats Rock. Yeah. Defiant assassinate in the Defiant Mac Pack. Assassinate a player that just exited Armor Lock in a match made game.
That's great because the Armor Lock knocks you away when it expires.
Yeah.
So.
And then the other one is also in Defiant, prevent the attacking team from touching the flag in a match made 1 flag CTF game. And the reason I haven't been able to get those is because every time I get a Defiant map, it's either Slayer or 2 flag or Assault or or the few times that I get 1 flag, somebody touches the flag.
It's a grind just to get the game type.
Yeah.
If you can have people in there to kind of stage it, that'd be nice too. Yep. Didn't do a stream with the wife this past week. She had some school stuff to catch up on for the end of the quarter type stuff. So nothing there, but we will, not next week because I won't be here, but the week after, hopefully be resuming the campaign on Outskirts, continuing that journey. And hopefully this Sunday I will be streaming my flight. I am actually leaving again for St. Louis. So my flight will be on Monday instead of Sunday. I will be streaming. So Bobby and I will be doing the Halo Wars stuff.
Oh, you're going to St. Louis, huh?
Yep.
Do you always travel this much? Germany and St. Louis back to back?
No, not usually this much, no.
Because every time we've ever met up, it's always in Austin or it's in Seattle or, this somewhere else where you're still traveling.
No, this is actually for work. This isn't for gaming conventions or anything.
This isn't for fun.
It's funny because it's like UGC St. Louis happened 3 weeks ago. Kind of 4 weeks late. But no, this one's actually for work. And I'll probably have a few more work-related trips this year that will be coming around. But no, it's usually not this back-to-back. And actually, this trip was just kind of initiated like 3 weeks ago. So it's a very short turnaround to actually get this trip planned.
Do you ever get any time to just check out the cities?
Usually. Like when I was in Germany, and since this podcast might be a long podcast, I might save the Germany story for next week or whatever. But for Germany, one of the days in the afternoons, we did kind of take a detour back from where we had to be. And the other coworker I was with used to work in Germany. He lived there for 3 years, so he knew a couple of places to go. So he took me around to a couple different places, so I got to see a little bit of Germany. And we stayed close to downtown Wiesbaden, so there was a lot of walking around I could do. And there was a cuckoo clock shop that we bought some stuff at, and I got a lot of Christmas shopping done early this year. So there was that. But
Oh my God, dude, it's January. Settle down.
I know, right? I think I got half my Christmas shopping done already.
Spoiler alert, you're getting a cuckoo clock. Oh.
Yeah, we got one for us. We didn't buy one for anyone else. But yeah. So usually I have time to go around and check places out if there's places to be. And I've been to the St. Louis, Illinois side or Missouri side of things. I haven't been on the Illinois side of things, which is where I'm going to be. I had a roommate in college who was from St. Louis, Missouri, and I taught him how to drive stick because he was buying a new car.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I knew how to drive stick. He was buying a Honda Civic Si that was a stick, so we drove out to his parents' place. We picked up the car. We were there for, I think, 2 or 3 days, teaching him how to drive a stick, and then I basically drove in front of him as he drove his new car back to college. Make a long story short. All right, we have quite a bit of news to try to jump through as quickly as possible. The next HCS Grassroots event is the HCS Invitational at South by Southwest. This was something that they announced shortly, I think a little before the UGC St. Louis, actually. And this is where they're taking the top 6 teams from UGC and inviting them out to South by Southwest, which is taking place in Austin, Texas, from March 15th through the 17th. And for those that don't know, South by Southwest is a yearly music, film, and interactive media festival. And there's going to be Halo there this year for $100,000 in prize money to be handed out. There are tickets available if you just check the Halo Waypoint article. And there's a couple of format things that are in here, which we'll go over. For the 4v4 format, the top 6 teams that are coming from UGC are Talks Gaming, Nile Esports, Team Reciprocity, Lux Gaming, Status Quo, and GMS. There will also be an FFA competition at South by Southwest, as well as a Microsoft Store 2v2 throwdown. So the Microsoft Store is going to be broken up into 4 regions: West Coast, Central, Northeast, and Southeast. And each region will be represented by a top Halo 3 pro player. The West Coast is going to be represented by Straight Sick. The Central is going to be represented by Flamesword. Northeast by Snakebite. And Southeast by Pistola. So this is going to be North America region exclusive for this 2v2 throwdown. Before players compete in the January and February events, they'll have an opportunity to watch instructional videos from their region's pro players. So if you go to the Microsoft Store for the 2v2 tournaments that they're hosting, then you'll get this little video from them that kind of helps you get some of the Halo 3 finer details down. The Microsoft Store for January, the tournament for January was this past weekend, so that one's come and gone, but the February one is going to be February 24th, and the 2v2 throwdown is going to be worth $5,000. And I believe if you make it past the first round of playing the 2 tournaments, and if you're one of the top performers of the region, you'll get a chance to fly out to Austin, Texas, to compete alongside your region's pro player in the 2v2 showdown.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's cool that they're trying to really get not to kind of recycle the term, but the grassroots tournaments for the Microsoft stores really involved with the HCS grassroots stuff and get other people flown out, not just the pros. So that's kind of cool.
That's how future pros are made.
Pretty much, yeah. You get the talent exposed, and I mean, this is one way to do it.
Yeah, there's talent everywhere. It's just is not. It's usually the biggest barrier is just getting out there because it's a surprise barrier.
So that's cool to see them continue to push that. For the January 27th store tournaments, they actually had that broadcasted from the Mixer studio. So they had all the different Microsoft stores piping into Mixer Studio, and then Tashi and Unisheck were actually casting some of the matchups from the Mixer Studio. So that was kind of cool to watch. I caught a few games. I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was cool to see two different stores across the U.S. actually competing each other and then having the two different views where they were commentating on them. So that was kind of cool. The next upcoming Microsoft Store tournaments are February 24th, and that will be the last one before the Invitational for the Halo 3 2v2. Then there will be March 31st, April 28th, and May 19th. The game and format for those are yet to be determined. They're also looking at the HCS Invitational to have some pro players, casters, and content creators and fans jump on the main stage at South by Southwest to do some Halo 3 big team matches just for some fun times. And there's also going to be a rival showdown between Snipedown and Lethal.
Oh.
So this has been demanded by fans for a long time. Since X Games 2016, there's been this rivalry between Snipedown and Lethal, and it's the format's going to be a little bit interesting. So it sounds like Snipedown and Lethal are going to have to pick teammates out of maybe like a pro pool or maybe pool of attendees, and then the casters will be kind of spinning a wheel to choose what game and mode and map they will be playing on. So examples they give are things like Halo CE 2v2 on Prisoner, Halo 2 4v4 on Lockout, 1v1 Octagon on Halo 3. So it's like a Russian roulette of Halo competitive rivalry.
Oh my god, I'm so rooting for the 1v1 on Octagon.
So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be nuts what they're trying to do here. So a lot of content that's going to be watched during South by Southwest. You have the 4v4 Invitational. You have the Microsoft 2v2 Throwdown. There's the FFA tournament. There's the big team that will be on main stage, and then the rivalry show match. And there's also a booth on top of all of that. There's the Halo 3 Open FFA, which will be up to $5,000 in pricing. Scheduling and format to come in the following weeks. They're also flying some of the grassroots content creators out to South by Southwest for the Halo booth. That's going to include Action Man, Ubernick, and Vetoed. And some of the applications that are currently in the chute to be approved will also have some of those representatives out at South by Southwest as well. For future HCS events, we have Gamers for Giving, which is going to be the following weekend, March 23rd through 24th, and then DreamHack Dallas, May 31st through June 2nd. They're working to get some more partners and more lands hosted in 2019, but that's all they have for now. Keep tuned to Halo.gg, and there'll be more updates on Grassroots in the coming months.
And I'm happy to see they've managed to keep up with so much content, despite we're so many years into Halo 5's lifespan, and there's so much just anticipation for the next Infinite news. Mm-hmm. I was kind of worried when they said they weren't going to do like HCS going forward in 2019 with Halo 5. I'd say they've done a really good job of filling in the gap. There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
There really is. And like you said, it's good to see them continue to try to keep the content rolling, especially in kind of the downtime of Halo. And it's not kind of mainstream at the moment for them to be doing a lot of push forward for the MLG stuff, especially for if Halo 5 wasn't getting as much push, and if Halo 3 is kind of the more popular one, to kind of let the community take control over that. And I think this also gives the HCS team a time to just cool down, get integrated in with Infinite, and then once Infinite comes out, just really hit the ground running. So I think this is great for them right now.
Yeah. The whole grassroots thing it's a good idea. It lets, a lot of these smaller tournaments shine. So I think
really does.
Really, really good program for them. And it allows them to, go all hands on deck for Infinite.
I see you.
The stream can see me too, for those that are watching. We have...
So for those of you that have downloaded the podcast, you have no idea what he's doing.
What do you call this? I don't even know what you call this.
I don't either.
The finger roll, I guess. I don't even know.
I can't remember the origin of it, and it's driving me crazy now.
Oh.
Now I have to look it up. Thank you.
Bobby is saying it's excellent.
Excellent.
All right. The next article that we have is last week's update, which is titled Snowy Salutations, posted by Unishek. A lot of the top of the article is stuff that we've already covered, either in the previous podcast or from the HCS stuff that we just talked about. So we'll go ahead and skip over some of that. For Halo 5 Guardians, they're continuing to work on new playlists and refreshes, and one of the things that they have released, which actually just came out today, is Ranked Head-to-Head, which is a 1v1 playlist, and they're also continuing to work on the refresh of the Big Team Battle playlist as well. For community competitions, Big Team Battle is hosting a Halo 3 tournament on MCC. That is taking place over on their challenge page. The tournament begins on March 2nd, so if you want to participate in some BTB action, then hit up their Twitter or check out the Snowy Salutations article for the link to register. SWAT Nation is also putting on a TV2 SWAT tournament for Valentine's Day, which will take place on Sunday, February 24th, which is being called Will You Be My SWATin' Time? And needless to say, Uni is a fan of the name.
That goes right alongside his Terrible Tuesday jokes.
Oh, I love those Terrible Tuesday jokes.
It makes me facepalm every time I see them.
I
can't stop reading them.
I love them. They're so great. They're so good. I love them. I love them so. There's also a Halo Wars 2 anniversary tournament, which is being hosted by the Halo Wars Fight Club, taking place also during Valentine's Day weekend. They'll be starting on Saturday the 23rd and going through the 24th. All the tournament details have been posted over in the Waypoint forums, linked from the article. So if you're wanting to do some Halo Wars 2 anniversary stuff, then go on over and check it out in the Waypoint forums. A couple of radar blips. There is a new employee spotlight, which I think we touched on last episode, but Lena Gaeta, I think, senior software engineer lead at 343, has an employee spotlight over on the 343industries.com website. She leads the team that creates the game editor tool Faber, which is the tool that they're using for the Slipspace engine. Also, Marcus Leto, for those of you who know the name, back from the Bungie era of Halo, posted in response to someone asking on Twitter some initial concept arts of the Ark. It's interesting to see how much has really changed since kind of the initial concept, and it almost seems like, just from the designs that Marcus posted, that the Ark was originally designed or thought of to be on Earth. The thing that we see in Halo 3, which ended up being the portal, looked like it was possibly that was going to be the Ark initially. How things have changed.
I'm kind of glad they made that change.
And this was back during Halo CE development when he said that he had these drawings. So I think as the lore developed is probably how they kind of changed some of the ideas on what they wanted to do or how they wanted to position certain things within the universe. But it's still interesting to see that, hey, they were kind of thinking of this as like the portal at Voy was initially slated to be the Ark. And I think a lot of people had thought that originally, and that was kind of made the rounds anyways, but still, it's cool to see some initial concept art for the Ark.
As soon as they made the dimensions of Halo known, that kind of blew the whole being on Earth out of the water.
Yeah, it wouldn't exactly fit.
I mean, the Earth could use it for a hula hoop.
That's a really big hula hoop. But you're right.
That's a great way to cover up a plot hole. It's a giant hula hoop.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, isn't that one of the terms that they use? A giant space hula hoop? I forget.
Yeah.
I forget who
coined. I remember correct.
I forget how the term was coined, but that is one of the terms, a giant space hula hoop. What is that from? Does someone know where that originated from? Was that Johnson? Was that a Johnson joke?
I think somebody in the community came up with that one.
I want to say it might have been one, like, when Johnson's briefing the Marines.
Oh, and the initial on every difficulty?
Yeah. I think that's actually where it's from. I think he says a giant hula hoop in there.
I don't remember.
I think that's where it originally came from. I think. Someone correct me on that, but I think that's where it's from. The last section we have in this update is from Grim. So he makes this little surfacing back up for a blog, but this is regarding a wish that they granted through Make-A-Wish. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this out. Again, this is from Grim. He says, at 343, we are blessed to be able to come to work each day ready to play in one of the greatest toy boxes around, from creating new story elements and fleshing out characters, weapons, and worlds to exploring finer details of the sandbox, balancing, and gameplay gymnastics. Getting to call Halo a career is incredible in its own right. That being said, I'd be lying if I said that really any of these aforementioned attributes took the top honors as my favorite thing about working at a place like this. No, I think that podium spot is likely reserved for moments like we got to experience last week, where all of a sudden the real impact of what we do comes into light. Our incredible longtime friends and partners at Make-A-Wish Foundation have recently let us know about a particularly awesome young fan named Nathan, who desired nothing more than to be able to hang out for a day with some of the folks who made his favorite games. I actually had the extreme honor of Skyping in on the big screen of his local Utah-based Microsoft store a few months ago, to let him know in person that his wish was being granted. Last week, Nathan and his amazing family, mom, dad, Nathan, and 4 siblings, math I can personally relate to, joined us for a day that none of us will soon forget. It kicked off at the Bellevue Microsoft store early in the morning, where a couple of Spartans from the 405th, a diamond-armored Minecraft character, a Campbell cosplayed Cortana, and a nearly 7-foot-tall Master Chief featuring the debut of an unbelievable new suit made from prop master Phil Schinner, stood alongside a big contingent of Microsoft, Xbox 343, Minecraft, and more staff to welcome Nathan and his family for a fun donut and gameplay-filled morning. Later that morning, Nathan and crew made their way to the studio for a day that featured learning to code with our friends upstairs at Minecraft, getting the lowdown on the franchise history and universe details in the Halo Museum, cake and ice cream made by 343 staff, a behind-the-scenes look at the development, tips on how to stream and create content, and building a custom Forge map called Central Point with multiplayer designers, which you can bookmark and play for yourself online. We actually even held a legit BTB playtest session on the map. Not gonna lie, it was pretty great right out of the box. With Nathan's family and a host of 343 staff, a playtest that literally culminated to an epic 100-99 Slayer match where Nathan got taken out by his own mom for the win. You can't make this stuff up. Needless to say, by the time Nathan and crew departed late that afternoon, we had all formed a pretty special bond with a pretty amazing family of fans. There's another reminder of what Halo is really about, moments that make memories and a universe that forges relationships, and it's an incredible honor to be even a small part of that process. So there you go.
You don't hear about this stuff as often as you want to. It's pretty cool stuff.
No, you don't. And I think it's at least once a year where they fulfill a wish like this for some Halo fan out there. So it's pretty cool to see that they continue to do this.
Yeah, especially the Microsoft stores. It always surprises me that the events and the stuff that they held down there, it's not just like a regular store. There really is a big community environment that takes place in these stores.
It's really cool to see. Final note on this update. Since Unicheck on the last update asked if there was one piece of art that people wanted to see in full quality, a lot of the people brought up the Halo 2 concept art of Master Chief riding in a pelican with the door wide open. And that is available for 4K to download.
Already did.
So did I. Although I have not put it in my wallpaper rotation yet. I need to do that. But I have downloaded it. Article number 2, done. On to number 3. Halo Wars 2 January update. So, a recent update, as of actually Tuesday this week, came to Halo Wars 2. And this is a culmination of all the cumulative updates that they have pushed to Halo Wars 2 over the last... It came out last year, so the year that it's been out. So between the 17 cumulative updates that they've pushed out, they've decided to lump them all together into one giant update. It's a 12 gig download, but you actually end up removing about 500 megs of space from the overall install. So they're streamlining things. They're taking some, not bloatware necessarily, but some fluff out of the updates and packing them all in. And as part of this update, it's going to help them push out additional updates in the future and make changes more quickly. So that's also a plus for this update. There are a couple bug fixes that they do list in here. So they fix some hard lock encounters while downloading a balance patch update. Fix hard locks at the main menu while booting the title. Remove duplicate files. Fixing a desync issue that could occur after a balance patch. All balance changes for the past year are included into the content update. And there's an addition of 20 plus multiplayer tactic files to help balance units. And then on Windows 10 specifically, there's a game start delay at launch of multiplayer match that has been improved for those with AMD graphics cards. So overall, not much in terms of bug fixes, but just kind of an overall cleanup of patches that they've done in the past and making it easier for Halo Wars to get updated in the future. There's also a scoop section in here. So Sean Cooper actually has a little bit of a technical blurb in this update. So if you want to read the full extent of it, you can head on over to Halo Waypoint. But the basics of it is how they took the kind of final creative assembly package that was the initial release of Halo Wars, how they brought it into the Waypoint, the 343 studio on a 10 terabyte NAS, which is just insane. And he talks about all the little quirks and difficulties that they had of resetting up the environment to pump out new builds and patches, and how they have a couple different build machines to push out Xbox updates, Windows updates. Also some compiler issues that they've had to overcome. So if you really want to get nerdy as far as what it takes to get an environment set up to fix underlying code for a game, then it's worth the read. It is a long one. If you're not technically savvy, it could go over your head pretty easily, so fair warning there. But if you are interested in kind of the game development side of things and want a little bit of a technical look under the hood of how Halo Wars 2 has been developed, then it's definitely a recommended read. For what's coming for Halo Wars 2, there has been some community feedback, primarily based on the Halo Wars Championship League that's been run over the past couple of months. And there's been one piece of feedback that's really stuck out, that players want more content for Halo Wars 2, which, I mean, I think players want content for just about every Halo game.
Yeah.
But apparently, Renzi is working on some behind-the-scenes stuff for the Halo Wars 2 community, and while they can't show it off now, they're working on hopefully showing it off later this year. So some new stuff possibly coming for Halo Wars 2?
Possibly.
Maybe. And then yesterday there was an update for MCC. This one comes from Postums on the Waypoint forums. There's been a little update to the main menu in honor of Black History Month. So if you boot up MCC, you'll see a little decal on the Warthog in celebration of that. A couple of things to note as the updates. Bug fixes. They fixed some issues where incorrect strings were displayed in the main menu as well as matchmaking search selections. So it's probably those little like string placeholder things that they probably had to fix, would be my guess. There have been some playlist updates as well. For Social 1v1, teams have been enabled in head-to-head for the following games. Halo CE Slayer, Halo 2 Classic Slayer, Halo 2 Anniversary Slayer, Halo 3 Slayer, and Halo 4 Slayer. They also made it to where you can, for those games where you can't view your enemy after you die. For Social 8v8 and Halo CE Slayer, they lowered the time limit to 15 minutes. They enabled the flamethrower and fuel rod gun from Halo PC, so those are back into the Halo CE side of things. They adjusted vehicles set so that each team receives one Warthog, one Rocket Hog, 2 Ghosts, and 1 Scorpion. Hopefully that'll make encounters a little bit more enjoyable for big team Halo CE.
Well, I mean, it makes it a little bit more balanced.
That, and you don't have to walk an insane amount on maps like Infinity.
Yeah.
When in doubt, add more vehicles.
Yeah, pretty much. For social games 4v4, Halo 3 Team Snipers, beam rifles are now present on the map, and radar has been disabled. For Halo 3 Lone Wolves Competitive, Slayer, King of the Hill, and Oddball have a Magnum secondary added to all AR start variants.
Oh, thank God. Thank you so much.
Yes. I mean, even though the Magnum in Halo 3 is kind of sucky, it's at least better than just AR starts with no secondary.
That's what I thought about it and then when the resurgence of Halo 3 happened, I went back and I was actually kind of surprised how good it could be at over the AR and just with like a little distance. It was a pleasant surprise, but it's not common to Halo 5 pistol. So
yeah, it's good for cleanup kills. You know, you get to the bottom of a clip, you can whip it out and finish off the kill.
It's definitely something, which is better than nothing.
I feel better about getting a pistol kill than an AR kill. There's something about a headshot that's just special.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. And if you guys are looking for more updates, make sure you check out the Trello board for HCS. They've got quite a few known issues that they're tracking, as well as some
for
future
MCC?
features.
Not HCS?
Oh, sorry, for MCC. Did I say HCS? I guess I did. For MCC. I meant to say MCC.
Don't be confusing our listeners.
That lives on forever now.
No. Since Head-to-Head came out today, Unisec made a little post on what Head-to-Head actually is all about. So this is a 1v1 round-based Slayer mode, which has 3 rounds going to 5 kills, but there are some tweaks to it to be made note of. If you win 2 rounds in a row, the game ends to you as the winner. If you lose 2 rounds in a row, then the game ends. So if someone wins the first 2 rounds, that's the game. If there is a 1-1, then it goes to a 3rd round, and then that is based off the number of kills. So say someone won the first game 5-1, and then lost the second game 5-4. You still have to, there's one person that has 9 and then one person that has 6. So the person that has 6 would still have to get more kills in the next round in order to win. So if they would have to get 5, to win, then that means they basically have to win the last round 5-0 in order to win the overall game. So there's a little bit of nuance in there.
Puts kind of an interesting twist on it, that's for sure.
He did have Sustained Designer Blaze comment on that specific little nuance to the game mode. And he said, while 1v1 is certainly a niche crowd, my goal was to approach the mode in a way that is slightly more accessible and in some cases more tolerable for someone who wouldn't typically play a 1v1, but maintain the same excitement for those veterans who already do. One way of doing this was to shorten the match times. That way, when a player has a bad match, it's over quickly, and they can move on to a new opponent. Another was by adding rounds into the mix, which we hope will help in a couple of areas.
It's interesting because my first guess would be if you're just at the end, if it's just totals, why have the rounds in the first place? But, there's the snowball effect is real, and the rounds do get rid of that because, you die at the beginning and there's power weapons, a power up, and they're just completely set for the round. Mm-hmm. It kind of screws the entire game. It's nice to get that reset in there. It makes it so you have to beat them more consistently throughout the game.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it definitely increases the challenge on it.
Yeah, you kind of just led right into what Blaze said next, and he said, resetting the playing field will allow for new opportunities to obtain power weapons and power positions, so kind of help breaking the snowball effect, and it also gives players the chance to learn the map's layouts and the best starting strategies.
Oh, great minds think alike.
Yeah, there you go.
I hope it would... the one thing I do kind of worry now is if someone gets that snowball advantage and then someone camps for the entire round so they don't feed kills. There's hope that it's wait for the reset, and then it's like, okay, now I can start going for it again. And if they lose the round, give up the advantage, and I'm just gonna hold back. It's like a 1-0 kill. So I can see that happening. That'd be my one concern about the rounds. I think it's worth testing out though.
I think but I don't think it's any worse than just having that happen in a long 1v1 setup that's just one round to 10 kills.
I wonder how long the rounds are gonna be. Did they mention that in there?
I don't see it in the article here. I'm guessing it's probably either 5 or 7 minutes tops.
I think 5 sounds about right because that'd be up to 15 minutes per game.
Yeah,
if they went the distance. So
there's also a scripted power up that they have in here. That's not your typical speed boost, camo, or overshield, but it's called Sense, which gives the person that picks up the power up a 20 seconds worth of radar.
Oh, that's right, because the radar is disabled.
Yeah,
that's cool that they can do that. I love that these little features are adding.
That is pretty cool. Uni shouts out McClure Time 96, Yum Udas, and Extraterrestrial for helping with the scripting of the power up.
See, now I want to go in and play it just to try that out.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how 20 seconds not that long. If the map is small, they can be pretty significant though.
That probably gives
Judging
you
from the screenshots that they put up of the maps are not that big.
You probably don't want them to be that big.
Honestly, I think 2v2 would be too many people for these maps.
I mean, they do seem a little big, but it's also, I guess, depending on what armor abilities or Spartan abilities are available. Yeah,
that's true. Some of these maps, you can get from one side to the other in just a few seconds if you can get the thrust boost and all that, the slide boost and all that stuff going on. But they look fairly small. So,
but yeah, I'm thinking with that power up, 20 seconds gets you probably at least 1 kill, if not 2 kills. That'd be my guess, at least.
That's when someone's going to camp for 20 seconds and hope they don't see him.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he necessarily says it in here, but I wonder if it's just a movement radar, which I'm guessing it is, or if it's something more than that.
Like, this is where someone is, if they're moving or not. This is where they are on the map. That would be one hell of a buff.
Yeah, and like how wide is the radar? Is it default 18 meters or 25 meters or what?
Yeah, I don't know that you can adjust the radars, what the radar picks up. I think the only thing it can pick up is movement.
There are radars that you can have where it shows enemies all the time, whether they're moving or not.
No, I meant in Halo.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can, like in custom games, you can choose to where radar is either off, shows allies only, shows enemy movement, shows with the HCS stuff, shows armor abilities, or shows enemies all the time.
What would you rather want? Would you want it to be smaller where it detects them if they're moving or not, or if it's like a much wider radius but it only detects movement?
I'm guessing probably wider radius, but only detects movement.
Because the maps are small enough and the radar is big enough, even if they're not paying attention, if they move for a split second, you can be like, that's the direction, that's where they spawn, I'm going that way. I don't know. It depends on what it is, but it's a really cool power up. That's a nice little touch to the game.
Well, it's interesting that you could script power ups. I didn't even know that was possible.
Well, apparently he needed a little help to do it, so.
Anytime I talk with Knockyard, he's got this brand new thing. He's like, oh yeah, someone went into scripts, and now that we can do this with the map, and it's just mind blowing the custom ability that is in the Forge nowadays.
I really need to dig into some of that scripting stuff at some point just to see, because there's some insane stuff that is out there that almost seems like you have to actually be in the game code to make some of that stuff work.
Well, I mean, honestly, with the scripting, you're almost coding the game, with the way you have to, lay things out. It's almost a form of coding. But yeah, I'd love to see, some of these guys' notebooks when it comes to scripting.
That's a rabbit hole I'd like to dive down into and just see the most ridiculous things people have come up with scripts. I'm sure there's a few diamonds down there that just need to get exposed to the public more.
Oh, I'm sure there's more than a few.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You just need a few really creative minds going on with a lot of talent on their hands.
For sure, it's nuts the things that they can do. For the head-to-head, they have 7 different maps that they're going to be offering up to be played. So you can check those out on the Waypoint post if you so desire, or just go ahead and jump on in. It's live right now in the ranked playlists on Halo 5. So go check it out. Snickerdoodle did post a spotlight for this week. Since we have a whole bunch of other news to go through, I figure we'll probably cover it in a little more detail next week. But there are some pretty cool things on here. A couple things I thought I'd go ahead and note out. Tom Jurassic, who I think still listens to the podcast, but he reached out to me a while ago, and he does a lot of the stop motion, or just kind of like I don't know what exactly you call it, but he poses some of the Mega Blocks in like his yard or something like that. So he has one of those pictures that was featured in this week's update. There's also a really cool render from Bailey that was done for Eckhart's Ladder for one of his videos. A lot of other cool renders and screenshots, some pencil drawings. Another one that kind of stuck out, which at first I thought this was a Halo collector, but it turns out there was someone else that has a laser cutter and has a lot more of those little stand laser cut lights. So he had an ODST insignia, the legendary insignia, and the UNSC insignia, which is pretty cool. Some Forge prefabs in there, as well as some videos, which includes the 3rd issue of Pocket's Top 10 Plays of the Week, and the actual release of Dawn Under Heaven, which I think we mentioned that in a couple podcasts ago, but that is officially released now. I think it was released on Friday, so that's up for you to go watch. So we'll dive more into some of the content in here next week. Unless GT and Rage, you guys have anything that stuck out to you right away?
Nothing I can single out. There's it's another rabbit hole of things that I'm gonna see, and I'm gonna go look up everything else these people have done, and that's gonna occupy my weekend.
There's a Grifball shout out in there. If you didn't see that,
I did not see that. Where is it?
it's Alpha Gamer
there it is.
Twitter. Yep. So some Grifball screenshots. Actually, some from Halo 3 and some from Halo 4.
A little bit of everything in this. Screenshot people, they find beauty in everything, don't they?
Yes, they do. It looks like there's 2 from Halo 3 and 2 from Halo 4 in those screenshot sets.
Oh, yeah. I'll go through these later.
So there you go. All right, that's it for the Waypoint articles. And as I suspected, that almost took an hour. We have a couple of other things to go over in the community. For Fan Fiction Friday last week, Halo posted that for the 5th year anniversary of Mortal Dictata was on January 25th. So the Kilo 5 trilogy was concluded with Mortal Dictata, which I have some news. I have finished Thursday War and I am into Mortal Dictata. So I'm actually
only 5 years late.
Exactly. So yes, I have finished one book in January. I'm so far I'm holding up my record of one book a month. Just gotta get through Mortal Dictata now, which I'm hoping to read on the flights. More time to read. So yay!
Yay!
Yep. So once I get done with Mortal Dictata, we'll set up a time to do the book podcast. Probably be closer to the mid to late February timeframe for that. Yay! I'm reading. So that's what we have for Fanfic, and nothing else as far as This Week in Halo posts that I was able to find. From the community side of things, I forgot to update that one, but the Halo Warriors Championship League, we kind of already talked about that a little bit, but they did make that post over on the Halo Waypoint forums. The format is a 1v1 deathmatch, and tournament events are going to be hosted by The Banished and the Halo Wars Tournament Central, which is a new group because I believe it was Breaking the Clutch and Team Respawn that was doing it alongside The Banished for the last season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so the format is 1v1 team deathmatch. All HWCL events will be live streamed and casted on Twitch by the hosting organization. Halo Wars Championship League points are awarded as follows. First place gets 30 points, second place gets 20 points, third place gets 15, and fourth place gets 10. If a tournament has over 32 participants, first through 8th place will receive an additional 5 points. 3 tournament no-shows results in a tournament ban, and harassment will also result in a ban. Gameplay rules: Decimus is banned until further notice, and Glassing Beam level 3 is banned until further notice. For the tournament schedule, we have January 26th, hosted by the Halo Wars Tournament Central. Also, other dates hosted by the Halo Wars Tournament Central is February 16th and March 16th. The Banished will be hosting tournaments on February 2nd, March 2nd, and March 30th. And then the season invitational will be April 13th. You can sign up for the tournaments by going to hwcl.challenge.com. You can also check out the Discord servers in the links in the Waypoint forums. So there you go. More Halo Wars Championship League. I think this is season number 3 taking place. So if you are in the Halo Wars things, which I still keep on urging Bobby to try to play in, even though he says he's not nearly as good as those guys. But hey, give it a shot. See how you do. But yeah, hwcl.challenge.com.
Well, that gives you kind of a hint of what they feel is overpowered.
Decimus and level 3 Glassing Beam.
when they start banning things, that tends to mean there's a balance problem.
You think?
Yeah, maybe.
Probably. Next thing we have is Dawn Under Heaven. Was released, and we kind of mentioned it a little bit since it was in the update. But fun little fact: this has been in production since 2010. That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I thought it was a really well done fan film. I do like the plot that was behind it, how it really integrated well with the established universe. I thought it was really good in taking care of that. I do have a couple of critiques on it, just from my personal, I guess, taste or opinion. Yeah. Some of the animation that was done in the film, like there were some animation pieces that you could tell they really took time to flesh it out, but there were other ones that it seemed like they just kind of threw it together and it just kind of left it there without putting final touches on it. So there was some inconsistencies with the animation and VFX, which kind of really stuck out. And then this seems to be an issue with a lot of machinimas or a lot of people who try to do it, where the AI doesn't really resemble AIs that we've seen in the official Halo universe. So the AI in Dawn Under Heaven doesn't really seem to have that AI mentality that you see in like Cortana and Roland and some of the other ones that we've read in the books and that kind of stuff. Whether that's an acting thing or whether that's just not really getting the character just right. I don't know. Something there. This is Dawn Under Heaven isn't the only fan project that seems to have, in my opinion, missed the mark on portraying AI personality as the way we've seen it portrayed in the established Halo universe. So that was another little thing. Those are really the only two things that kind of really stuck out to me. But other than that, I thought it showed that they were very passionate about the project, and I think the underlying story that they tried to tell fit in line kind of with the established universe. So I really appreciate them taking the effort to really make a story that you could see tie into the franchise.
Yeah, I started to watch it, but I haven't finished it yet.
And there was a little interview that they did with, I don't know if Snickerdoodle specifically did the interview with them, but they have a little Q&A that they did in this update, so we'll probably talk about it a little bit more next week. And I probably need to rewatch it again just to kind of pick some stuff that I didn't catch the first time around. But overall, a solid fan film. You could tell it's a fan film by certain aspects of the film. It's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable watch, I think. Halo Collector said he loved it until the Scarab. But yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit more next week. For Installation 01, they have their weekly update. So there's a new track from Jafet Meza that they posted, part of the new Mombasa suite. This one's called Rain, so you can check that out in the update. And then we also see Tekka, who is, I think, one of their creators, talking about the original MC design from the Macworld presentation of Halo, and talking about how they kind of took some of the design concepts of the armor and how he or she made some sketches of the armor to start building out potential models for Installation 01. And then from there, Greg actually implemented the model that Tekka sketched up. So we have a kind of a pre-Halo model armor that is now in Installation 01. And there's some renders up on the update that you can go and check out. And I think they also provide some wallpapers that you can download if you so choose as well. What do you guys think of this armor set? And I'll link it into the chat for those that...
Definitely an interesting twist.
But not completely foreign.
No, not completely foreign, just different.
It looks better than some of the other ones that 343's done for Halo 5.
Well, yeah.
So, there's that. But it's cool to see them take something that is 20 years old, literally. Oh, wow. That means Halo CE turns 20 in 2 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Just about, right? Although if they were in the UK, they'd already be available, ready to drink.
They'd already be plastered. Oh.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, the age is definitely what stopped everyone.
Yeah. But it's cool to see how they basically extracted the armor just from the low poly mess that was the Macworld armor and made it into something that looks really cool and actually believable.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it as a space armor, it looks pretty legit.
They could throw that on Halo Waypoint, not say anything, and people would believe it.
Probably, yeah. So apparently Greg has been trying to get this done for a while because he looked like that was one of the first things that he wanted to do when he first joined the team, and they kept on giving him other things to do, and it finally got around to him making this. So it's now available in the builds of Installation 01 for those that have access to it. And all the renders that he has of the wallpapers and everything was done in Blender. They also remade the Computer Gaming World magazine cover with their armor set. So that was kind of cool.
That side by side comparison is what really makes it stand out. That actually looks really cool in the magazine.
It really does. It's so cool that they almost made it nearly identical.
I love all the little edits too. The #1 fake magazine.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Fan-made gaming world. It is still a thing.
Yep. And then by dusk, we had nothing to do with it. It's just really good. So, yep. A couple other little items in their update. They're looking for a quality assurance tester to join the team. And then under the Blame Bean section, he's showing off some of his Discord partner swag that he got. So head on over to the Discord if you so choose. All right, that's it for the Installation 01. For Project Contingency, they also released a teaser trailer over on their YouTube channel called The Winter Contingency. So you can go and check that out over on their YouTube. In their weekly update, they mentioned some of their new hires that they recently have brought on to the team. They have Tasla, who wrote the update, and she's the newest community manager for the project. There's Omatu, who's a concept artist for characters, weapons, environments, and worlds. There's Dan, who is a UI programmer. Tactics, a stats programmer. Big Stack, a system design and integration, doing system design and integration. Jack of Chaos, a voice actor. Classy Ham, a programmer. Red M for infrastructure. Sam McCarthy for 3D designer. And Omar Lot RC for multiplayer announcer. And then there's a little interview of R93 Sniper about the teaser that they released. For Halo Downfall, they have their weekly update as well. They mentioned that they have an enemy AI prototype, which is almost complete. They have some environmental elements for the first mission that they're going to start working on soon. And they show off their drop pod and magnum models. They have also a new team member, Storm Aster, who's working on programming, and Westy, who is working on writing. They are also looking for people to join their ranks as well. So if you are wanting to help out with another project, then you can sign up over there as well. For Precursors Legacy, they have a mock-up of... they have some model mock-ups, and they have a little video of showing Banshee mechanics working over in networking. They have a little blurb in there talking about them considering cell shading, which for those who know Borderlands, is kind of like the black border around certain things, which to me is not very Halo, but it's something that they're considering. And they have a plasma grenade model up there as well. For the Halopedia and Halo Nation merge, the vote passed on the Halopedia side, so now it is over to the Halo Nation side to cast their vote. So if you are part of Halo Nation, make sure you head on over to the Halo Nation wiki and make your voice heard. Voting is open now, and it will end on February 4th for the Halo Nation side of voting. Puckett also has his top 10 plays of the week in Halo 3, and it sounds like he's back to doing those weeklies, so we'll probably have a new one out next week.
And they're sending in some good stuff.
Yes. And that is the news. That was a lot of news. That was a lot of freaking news.
You thought 5 waypoint posts was enough. And it's like, no, we got way more stuff still.
Now on to the main reason why we're here tonight. So we have Rage More Nerd on from PlayGrifball.com. I don't know if this is exactly accurate to say, but kind of the what's opposite of precursor? Is there an opposite?
I don't know. That's a good question.
The thing that a successor. That's it. The successor.
Oh my god, I feel stupid.
The successor to Grifball Hub. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, that's close enough. It's
okay.
So what? I can go over how that whole story happened. So, well, Grifball Hub has been a thing for years. I joined the Grifball community back in 2011, and the hub was already a thing. They've been going on for quite some time. Grifball Hub had booths at many years of RTX. They've been holding tournaments there up until the last few years when things slowed down. We got on the main stage one year for the Grifball tournament, and then the year after that, we straight up just had our own booth, and right in the middle of the show floor, which was pretty awesome because DJ was there, and anyone who knows DJ Blue PDX knows that he's louder than anyone else on there when you put a microphone in his hands.
I think a lot of our listeners are familiar with DJ Blue at this point.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Grifball Hub had a long history with a lot of success. It was a very recreational league run by Goose, Cheka, and Cal Bulgarian. But they had the last couple of years, they did have a baby. So congrats to them. I mean, it's been over a year, but still,
yeah.
That was kind of one of the big points where they said, all right, we're going to step away from Grifball for a while. Priorities, very understandable. Both
I think so.
Very busy people. And as the time went on, it was a lot of me and DJ kind of stepping up to help run things. I ran the leagues, the GGL, the recreational league of Grifball Hub, and the AGLA, the competitive side, which was started up over 10 years ago on the Rooster Teeth site, which Rooster Teeth ran at the beginning. So I was running the leagues, keeping that going. DJ ran the stream and was loud, as we all know. And we were actually they're gonna revamp the site. But as that day got closer and closer, it came to the point where we weren't sure if Goose and Cal were gonna have the ability to come back. And when we talked about that, we ultimately decided probably best if you guys can go ahead, you can take the site and continue on somewhere else with your own brand. Take the AGLA with you. So that's what we did. So when Goose and Cal ultimately stepped back and moved on to better things, we took the AGLA and Grifball, opened the new site, PlayGrifball.com, and we have discontinued the legacy on. So yeah, so successors is
there you go. So what was the reasoning behind doing a new website and new community instead of just kind of taking over Grifball Hub?
Because when Grifball Hub started, it was very recreational. It was more casual setting, and again, when I started, it was with the AGLA, which stands for the American Grifball League of America, because everyone loves dodgeball, and it's a lot more. It was a very more competitive mindset, and anyone who's familiar with Grifball back on the Rooster Teeth forums in the old days, it was an extremely toxic community. So it was very different than what Goose and Cal wanted. I'm sure that's part of the reason how the hub even started.
Yep.
And since the AGLA was going to be our main focus, it didn't seem right for us to take Grifball Hub forward when we weren't going to be able to. I wasn't going to be able to keep up with that image. I was going to say this is a recreational league. We're here for everyone to feel safe and warm. environment, we kind of said, nah, you know what? We're gonna let these guys have some more fun with it, and there's gonna be they're gonna go at it with each other, some trash talk here and there, but that's not what the hub stood for. So it felt more appropriate to start anew and start with our own image instead of changing theirs.
Okay, fair enough. So you have a lot of the Grifball Hub people who were part of that community over here now. So how much has that changed since the Grifball Hub days?
Not as much as we'd expected. Again, a lot of I guess I'll just stick with the word toxic players. The longtime community members, it's been a 10+ year event, so everyone's kind of matured and stuff. And that environment kind of stuck with it as we moved on to the new site. And while we opened things up for them to be more trash talky with each other in the competitive environment, it's actually not been that bad. The community itself has not changed as much as people would think. It's much more welcoming than it used to be.
Goose and Cal's legacy is kind of living on in the new.
Their influence has definitely made a long-term effect. So if that was something they hoped that would happen, it most certainly has.
That's kind of cool to see. Cool. So we kind of jump started into the play Grifball discussions a little bit. We actually have a de facto questions that we ask every guest who's on for the first time. So we skipped ahead a little bit, but I want to kind of circle back around to those questions, one of which we kind of know the answer to because you're here talking about it, which is what you do now in the Halo community. So we're going to be talking about that. But the first question normally is, how did you get started with Halo in the first place?
Oh, geez. I had to go. It was probably just Christmas one year, and I got the Xbox, and Halo just happened to be one of those games there. I do remember playing Combat Evolved, and I did not get into the LAN parties, unfortunately, but I was completely hooked on the campaign, and that continued on through most of Halo 2. I just kept playing the campaign over and over and over again because I was just completely addicted to it. And then I got introduced to Xbox Live towards the end of Halo 2, and I just have to stick around. It's just too big part of my life right now.
Yeah. No, and the story is definitely a compelling one. That's how I got my interest into Halo, so it's cool to hear yet another person who got in, just not from the multiplayer, but the campaign side of things. Very nice. All right, so we have a couple of questions that we drummed up for you, so we'll go ahead and start off with those. So the first one is, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, but kind of to expand a little bit on it, what's kind of the key differences that you would say are between Play Grifball and Grifball Hub, other than kind of trying to make it more relaxed as far as the stringent rules, like has format changed? I know you're still kind of taking the AGLA stuff through to the Play Grifball side of things, but are there other key differences between the Hub and Play Grifball?
More when we first moved to playgriffball.com, because the GGL, which was the Hub's league, it was always a classic setup where people just came in and they signed up their full teams on their own, and we give them a night to play, and we would give them their schedule and they go at it. The AGLA was actually a bid league setup for quite a few years. So players would sign up individually, and then captains would be chosen, and then they would bid on the available player pool. So it was something developed a long time ago to help spread out the talent pool, because it was just the same 2 or 3 teams winning every single season. And that idea caught on fairly quickly. And that's pretty much what Play Grifball was for the first few seasons. It was the bid league. But this season, we have since gone back to the classic setup. So that's familiar to anyone who spent any time at Grifball Hub.
And for those that have not even touched Grifball before, can you give like the 2-minute hall passing spiel on what the format is for the AGLA for this season?
You mean like
just kind of like general format stuff of like how the leagues run.
Oh yeah. So unfortunately, sign-up closed a couple weeks ago, but players sign up. They sign up with their teams. They have their team name. The rosters are 4 to 6 players. Grifball is 4v4, so you need at least the 4-man teams. You submit the days that you're available, and the administration will make you a schedule in game nights and who you play, and you get on the Grifball court and you just go at it. It's a pretty standard setup, so it's something anyone familiar with any kind of tournament style would play. But seasons are usually around 1 to 2 months long, so it is more of a long-term commitment. And then playoffs will commence immediately afterwards, which will last about a month themselves.
Cool. And one of the things that isn't quite, I guess, standard as far as other tournaments done by more of the Shooty Halo, and yes, I'll use that term, Shooty Halo tournaments. Because a lot of those tournaments are like pretty much, yeah. Those are done like on weekends, like set to a schedule. You're set to play at this time, but the teams for the Grifball side of things, you actually can match your schedule up with the teams that you're going against, so there's a little more flexibility in actually being able to play matches against the other team and really get that stuff set up. So it's a little bit more of a, I'm not sure what word I'm looking for is, but there's a lot more opportunity for people to actually play their matches and have a fun time in the league than having to stay to a strict schedule and not being able to participate because of schedule conflicts.
Oh yeah, most definitely. There was a time where we tried to do the strict schedule thing, and at the end of the day, that was it's just not as convenient for players. So, actually, most Grifball games are scheduled between Monday and Thursday. I think we have like 176 games on the schedule to be played this season. I think only 2 are on a Saturday or Sunday. Wow. So it is mostly a weekday event. But we're very flexible with reschedules because, life happens. It's only Grifball. We're not going to have you put aside all your plans to play Grifball 2 nights a week and just commit your time to it. Teams will often just reschedule around their own times because some people don't have a very structured schedule as others do. A lot of people are in college and such, and things change. Mm-hmm. But we've opened it to being very lenient and convenient for players.
Yeah, that's good. And for those that used to be part of the GGL or have heard about the GGL, that's kind of the similar format that was done back in the Grifball Hub days. So it sounds like it's working out well for you, at least, because how many teams did you say registered?
This season we had 16 teams, and teams are between 4 and 6 players.
Still a pretty good size.
Considering last season we only had 10, it was a nice little boost. So we're pretty happy about that.
Yeah, it's not like because there were a lot of teams back in the prime of the GGL, right?
Oh my God,
wasn't there like a max of 400?
When Halo 4 launched, there were so many teams that one season. It was outrageous.
Wasn't it like 400?
It was in the triple digits. I don't remember what the number was. It was way too big of a number that we were expecting to have. It was that was definitely the prime season of Grifball. It was the first season of Halo 4.
Yeah, I think I got it. I played for a season during that second year in Halo 4. I played Grifball.
Yeah, Grifball tends to get popular, gets its like little spark every time a new game launches, and we have new iteration of the way the game's played.
Yeah.
It keeps that hype for about a year, 1 to 2 years. But I don't think we'll ever see anything quite like that one season ever again. That was crazy.
Infinite might be. I mean, I think one part of that was actually having Goose be on a panel with 343 showing off Grifball.
Yeah, Goose had some pretty awesome connections and got to expose Grifball in a way that hasn't been a thing since Rooster's Teeth was a part of it.
So with Infinite, you never know.
Everyone is just dying for some Infinite news right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of potential there. Like Cherub is saying in the Twitch chat, there's a lot of potential with Infinite, so it might come through. You never know.
Just seeing how excited the Halo community has been the last few months just from Halo 3, from a 10-year-old game. That's very optimistic just to see people coming back for that. You never know. If Infinite, I'm very optimistic for Infinite. I think 343 is going to get the job done. They've learned a lot of lessons over the years, and the recent year has shown that they know what the community wants. They've been listening, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it could give us something pretty awesome to play with. For sure.
So for this season, you decided to go with Halo 3 on MCC. So kind of a throwback to Grifball's origins being in Halo 3. Was kind of the key factor in that just being the hype currently for Halo 3 on MCC, or were there some other reasons that made you come to the determination that you're going to do Halo 3 for this season?
The MCC resurgence was definitely what sealed it for us. Again, as I said before, Grifball kind of has a 1 to 2 year window where we enjoy growth and the general Halo community being a part of it. We're kind of beyond that point in Halo 5, and there was some fatigue spitting in. I mean, even I was getting kind of bored, and I've been playing nonstop for over 8 years. Yeah, we just wanted to do something different, and we could have gone Halo 3, we could have gone Reach, and we could have gone Halo 4. And between those three options, with everyone being all about Halo 3, it was kind of fitting. Just go back to where it started. Go with what everyone's excited about. Yeah, that pretty much sealed the deal.
So did you have help from 343 at all on getting the maps converted? Because there was the MCC update that they posted a while ago saying that they had an internal tool to help bring some forged maps over from Xbox 360 file shares over to MCC. So did they help you with that at all, or did I think it's on Knockyard's file share? Did they go in and just recreate that from scratch in MCC Forge?
I don't know if he recreated it, but it's certainly Knockyard would do, because of how if you just give him, if he just says, I want to do something, next thing you know, 3 hours later, and it's done. Knockyard was way on top of that when that was announced. So when the Match Composer came out, they already had all the game types and all the maps ready. So they were on 343 was way on top of that. And then Unishek especially was very helpful. They got us on signups posted on the Halo Waypoint for our last 2 seasons, and the Halo Twitter has given us a couple of retweets, which of course are the biggest exposure that we get.
Yeah, whenever they tweet stuff, it definitely helps for sure.
Yeah, that's when I had to turn off notifications on my phone, because I still we posted that like a month ago or something. I still get notifications today. That's just it's a nice little treat that he just destroys my phone for the next few weeks.
It's nice to know that you're appreciated and loved sometimes.
It's great that 343 has been so supportive of us.
So is Halo 3 something that you're looking to stick with for the next year in the AGLA, or you're going to kind of take this season and then see what the interest is in next season? What's kind of the plans on after this season in Halo 3?
We were just gonna. That's how it started. We were just gonna play it out and just see where the interest was. But after seeing how, seeing the response and just the big bump in players, the Discord is the busiest that it's ever been with the highest numbers. I would say sticking with Halo 3 is probably what we're gonna end up doing. We haven't confirmed that. We haven't talked about it because we're just seeing how it plays out. But it's hard for me to see us going to something different.
That makes sense for the most part, because of the differences that you're kind of diving back into with Halo 3, and how Halo 3 is taking a lot of the spotlight right now. It makes sense to kind of stay on that until either it's run its course or until Infinite comes out. So that makes sense.
Yeah, you never know. They could add a reach to MCC. They could definitely do that, because I don't know if Infinite, I don't know if it's gonna drop this year. That's just what I want a release date.
Well, they've already said it's not gonna be this year.
Oh, did they? Oh, all right. Well, you ruined my dreams there. I'm not surprised. But yeah, you never know. They could just say, "Hey, we're gonna throw Reach on MCC for you guys," and then that could become popular for a bit.
They could.
Halo 3 is something special.
Yeah. I mean, it's really special for Grifball too, because that's where Grifball started.
Yeah, and Grifball has surprisingly, for such a simple game, it's hammers and swords, and there's a ball in the middle. Get on the other side of the map. It has changed quite a bit over the years. Like Halo 3 to Halo Reach, very familiar games. They play pretty similar. Most people are going to favor Halo 3 because it's how it started. But then Halo 4 comes in, adds sprint to the game, adds passing to the game, and it's completely different to Halo 3. It's a completely different game. And Halo 5 is very similar to Halo 4.
You could say Grifball evolved.
All right, settle down now.
Sorry, I had to throw that one out there.
Oh my god, yeah, Grifball evolved. That was a thing in Reach. Speaking of which, we had the dash variant in Reach, where we used evade and sprint, and that's still one of my favorite versions of Grifball because you can evade with the ball and just fly across the map, and that's still some of the most fun I've ever had. But yeah, Halo 4 and Halo 5, just the addition of passing alone just completely changes the way the game's played.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. I did not like the change. I did not like evolved Grifball in Reach.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people playing in the Halo 3 League right now who are not in Halo 4 and Halo 5. It's not for everyone. Like I said, it's something completely different. There's something special about the rock, paper, scissors Halo 3's got with the weapons and launches. Everyone loves launches. Never quite the same as they were in Halo 3, so we're glad to get to do those again.
So that kind of actually leads right into the next question that I posted up there. But how is dedicated server host going to affect games in Halo 3?
Oh, it's just like the old days. Okay. Yeah, it's at the higher levels of play, whoever's hosting the game can almost decide who's going to win. It's kind of crazy 10 years later how big of a difference that still makes. Halo 5 having dedicated servers was great. It kind of evened things out quite a bit. Halo 3, the server host, it is probably the biggest factor going into a game at the higher levels of play. It really makes a big difference.
So, because it is using dedicated servers now, because some games, I think online, are going to be using dedicated servers, right?
On MCC?
I believe so.
No, well, I mean, right now we're using whoever the lobby leader is for custom games anyway. I think matchmaking is dedicated servers, customs or not. Whoever the lobby leader is going to be host.
Okay, so you're still having to do the neutral host stuff that you did back in the... Okay.
Yeah. I wish we couldn't. Dedicated servers were the best thing to happen to Grifball in a long time, but oh well, gotta pay a price.
9 years of development difference between Halo 3 and Halo 5. So things have definitely changed over time. And I guess at one point I thought that they did have customs on dedicated servers. Perhaps that changed with one of the later updates. Possibly.
I know Halo 5 does. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Halo Infinite better have dedicated servers.
I'd be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, that seems like the future. That should be the default nowadays. But you never know.
I think with how games are going these days, it's going to be dedicated servers pretty much. Next question I have is: are there some key differences that people should expect or anticipate that will make this one stand out from some of the previous seasons that you had in Halo 5, or I guess even back in the Halo 3 days on 360? Is there going to be some differences with this season, or is it going to be pretty much what people have seen before?
If anyone was ever played in the old Halo 3 leagues, it's going to be pretty familiar. It's just going to be a lot more games. Halo 5... Well, this is actually the first season of Halo 5 that has not been the bid league structure. So this is actually our first time where people can make their own teams in the Age of Light. Man, it's actually been quite a few years since we've done that. I want to say 4 or 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, we've been doing the big league for quite a while. But yeah, so if someone recent, that may be something different. You get to pick your own teams now. You get to play with whoever you want. But yeah, if you remember Halo 3, it's going to be a very familiar setup.
Cool. I know registrations are closed now, but gives people a little bit of a classic look at Grifball and those. And it sounds like you said a lot of people that were in Halo 3 Grifball back in the day are the ones that are biting on the bait now, so to speak. So there shouldn't be much difference for them, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, the Discord is filled with so many familiar faces from the old days. It's actually pretty cool to see people come back and say, yeah, we still love this game. We just wanted it to be Halo 3 again.
And it's on MCC. So you got the 4K content up there as well.
Oh yeah. And registration is closed, but there are 16 teams and not all of them have all their rosters filled. So if anyone is interested, I'll throw a link in the Discord onto the Twitter after this. Feel free to join and try to get onto a team. There are still openings. If not, there are custom games going on multiple times a week. The players are always looking to try to get some casual games in. And we actually do have something called Late League. It is kind of like, it uses Halo 5's competitive structure, or any MOBA for that matter, where you have divisions based on your win-loss record. So it's ranked custom games. It's pretty much what it is. You can just go in, you can sign your name up when a host says that we're going to run it tonight, and then we'll put you onto teams every game. So you'll get to meet a lot of players and get a little taste of that competitive environment that Grifball provides. Okay. So there are options for players who miss signups.
You answered one of my other questions too, so there you go.
I'm ahead of you.
No, you're good. I like it. Yeah, so it's good that there's still some other opportunities for people to get involved, because I think that's one of those things where with a change like this and people maybe not picking up on it right away, that they see it's like, oh, there's this thing. Oh, wait, I can't quite sign up to this. But there is still other ways to get involved. And for those that maybe haven't heard of Grifball and want to get involved with it, the custom lobbies are a good way to at least start getting exposed to what Grifball is and some of the intricate mechanics, because there is definitely some strategy to Grifball.
You know that it'll always surprise people how big of a difference the Grifball that's played in customs to what's going on in matchmaking. Most league players don't even play matchmaking because it's just simply too easy. You remember at RTX we'll always host Player Pro in between the tournaments. We had a booth, and we would have not always our top players who were there. We would just have any league players set up a team and have people come and try to play them. They would go hours without getting a single goal scored on them. It's a surprisingly big skill gap for such a simple game. Yeah, if you want to see a different way to play Grifball, you got to get into the custom games.
Yeah, and technically, Grifball, or the AGLA specifically, is the longest running competitive Halo League.
Yes, technically that. I remember DJ loved to say that. Yes, that is technically true, because it's been going nonstop since Grifball started. Oh my God, what in 07, 08? I don't even remember. I wasn't there for it.
I want to say 08 because Halo 3 came out in 07, and I think Grifball was just one of those things that I think it was 08 when they actually made the whole AGLA announcement.
Yeah, I think that's when the original A tournament was.
Yeah. Back when who was it from Rooster Teeth that was the commissioner? I'm blanking on his name for some reason.
Caleb.
Even before him.
Jack, I think.
That's it, Jack. The original commissioner, and then it got passed to Caleb, and then it got passed to... Well, I guess there was Grifball.com, but then that kind of got absorbed into Grifball Hub at some point.
Grifball.com is still a thing. That belongs to Bernie. He will never give that up.
Well, as far as the league itself, like the responsibility of the league.
Yeah, it was on Grifball.com while it was run on the Rooster Teeth forums when Grifball.com kind of died. We still ran it there for a bit. The AGLA actually ran onto a different site called Grifball.info, while the hub was going on. They were separate for quite a while, because again, the community back on the Rooster Teeth forums wasn't the most friendly thing in the world, and the hub was. It wasn't for a few years. I want to say like 2012, 2013, right around there, where the AGLA moved onto the hub as well, and that's when Grifball was kind of united for the first time since we left Rooster Teeth forums. So it's bounced around a bit.
It's interesting. I just went to try to go to grifballhub.com and it actually doesn't resolve.
Oh yeah, it's lost to the void.
Dead link. And there's Laird in the chat, original Grifball, OG Grifballer. Give him one of them shirts.
Fantastic. We need more of those. Every so often, someone new comes in saying, "Oh yeah, I was right there at the beginning. I don't know who they were because I only started in 2011, but." And then all big handful of players comes in. I know this gamer tag. I remember you, and everyone just gets all excited.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you a Discord link.
There you go.
Oh crap! I can't. Mixer won't let me sign in.
Oh no!
I'm gonna throw it in the Skype chat. Can you throw it in there real quick?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Yes, Mixer is not cooperating with me. Yeah, it's just a big nostalgia high right now in that Discord. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, that's really cool to see. As far as the like some of the OG Grifballers, it's cool to see them like come back. And like you said, you see a lot of them coming back for the Halo 3 stuff. So
yeah, it's a lot of players who when I first started, I hear all these gamer tags like these guys were the best tanks, these guys ran the ball the best, these guys were the best at launching, and this is the first time I've ever been able to talk and play with them. So it's almost a new experience for me at the same time. That's
cool. That's really cool. So the finals for this league, how's that going to be done for this season? I'm assuming it's similar to past AGLA or past GGL stuff, but for those that don't know, how are the finals going to take place after or towards the end of the league season?
Once the playoffs are set, we're probably going to have 8 teams in playoffs, and then we'll have a bracket set up, and teams will play in a best of 3 series against each other until they get to that final championship game. We don't have that scheduled ahead of time because schedule's got to match up one way or another, and we don't know who's going to be there. When that happens, it'll be another best of 3 series, and we'll be sure to get that streamed out, and I'll see about getting that on Waypoint too, because I know some people might actually be really interested in seeing the highest level of play.
Yeah, I think that that's something that they should be supporting, and I mean it seems like that Grifball should be probably alongside the grassroots program. Have you tried reaching out to them about being part of the grassroots program?
No, I probably should though. I know it
fits right in with it.
Yeah, I know. I was just really happy when we got like the connection back with 343, because it kind of fizzled over the time when Goose and Cal kind of stepped back, and it was kind of like a new level of leadership who didn't have those connections. I'm just happy that connection got built back up. So I should look into that, and I will.
That's good. No, I think this is definitely something that you guys should have and deserve to have with the legacy that Grifball has had, and the fact that AGLA is the longest running competitive Halo League.
Oh yeah, we got that over everybody.
I'll keep touting that over and over again.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'm gonna have to start throwing that on every single announcement webpage we got.
There you go. The longest running competitive Halo League. Longer than MLG, longer than HCS.
Oh yeah, we got them beat. Oh, we got HCS beat by like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, pretty much. Can you explain a little bit more about the roster trade and drop mechanics? And the reason I want you to kind of talk about it is in the HCS side of things, we see player trades happen almost on a weekly basis during regular league. But it looks like for you guys, after week 3, you're locking rosters and preventing trades.
Yeah, so if there's one thing Grifball has had an issue with, it's people finishing out their seasons. It happens every time. It's unavoidable. Some players they lose, they get discouraged, and it's only Grifball. It's not something people are gonna commit their lives to, and just say, all right, screw it, forget it. And every so often, there's teams that get built with the intention of full on, we're going to go out there, we're going to win, like building an NBA super team. Got Golden State Warriors over here. And then there's some people who want to go, who are having fun, make their own teams with their friends. But what we don't want to see happen again is when we go a little bit into the season, and then some teams are like, okay, we're not going to make the playoffs. Let's just stack how everyone and make a super team again. Because, it's kind of, to me, it's ruined the NBA. We don't want it to ruin Grifball again, but it hasn't been an issue so much in these last few games. But we're keeping a lot of the old rules going.
Okay. Do you guys see a lot of player turnover, or do you think because of these rules and because of just how the legacy or how the league has kind of a legacy behind it that you don't see it as much for the Grifball stuff? And I guess it's not quite as serious because there's not as much monetarily on the line as, say, HCS has.
It's actually interesting. The community is it's the same. It's been the same set of members for so many years. We'll get an influx of new players. We'll get like a new team, and then one person out of that is going to stick around long term. So there's going to be a lot of very familiar faces season by season. The new player turnover rate is pretty high, but when someone stays, they're here for quite some time.
That's good. So you're still getting new interest and new people in. It's just not necessarily a massive influx, but it is a slowly kind of drip effect into the overall pool of Grifballers. Cool. When it smashes, it smash. Slice and dice. Grifball puns.
We don't get those high. We don't get those high sprees.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, you get some. You just have to make sure they're not spawn camping.
Oh, it's hard. Oh, good luck doing that in one of those league games.
Yeah. So registration's already ended. You mentioned the custom games, but you said there are still some rosters that are looking for a couple of pickups. So where do people go to if they want to still try to get into this season? Where would they go to try to find teams to get on board with?
100% the Discord. Everything Grifball related will be running through our Discord. That's where everything happens. We the league will run through playgriffball.com. That's where we have this. We'll keep standings, we'll keep stats and player rosters, but the most up to date stuff and where everyone is going to be chatting will always be the Discord.
Very nice. And we did link it.
That link is all over the website too.
Yeah. Okay. And we linked it in the chat for those that are watching. For those that are listening to the download, like Rach said, just go over to the website playgriffball.com. And the last question I'll have for you, because we are running a little long on the podcast, and I don't want to keep you too late, but for Infinite, if there's one or two things that you'd like to see included, whether it's new or something that has been in Grifball that you want to see re-added back into Halo for Infinite, what would it be?
Personally, I want to make sure passing's still in the game. That's a lot of Halo 3 players may not like that opinion because it changes the game so much, but I just love what the playmaking abilities that open up when you have the ability to pass the ball in Grifball. Not so much in Halo 4, we can throw it across the entire court, and that's all the game becomes. But as long as that ability's in there somewhere, I'll be a happy camper. And if I had to pick another one, it's launches. The gravity, if for having the gravity hammer, it is the gravity in between the games has been the most inconsistent setting that's carried through. Like Halo 3, the gravity is to the point where you can launch players across the map all the time. It's a huge effect on the game. Halo Reach kind of toned it down, and Halo 4 and Halo 5, it's almost non-existent. You could kind of launch in Halo 4, but it was very difficult. Launching in Halo 5 is completely non-existent. So it would be really cool to have get a Grifball where we have the launches of the old days and the passing of the recent games. That would just be fantastic. Cool.
And can you think of any new kind of mechanic that you would want to see, or is that just kind of you need some time to think about that?
Ooh, I don't know. You have to kind of think about that. The last 2 new mechanics that entered the game were well, let's see. The 3 new ones that came in Halo 5 were shoulder charge, which we took out day 1.
Yeah.
Thrusters, which we still have in the game type today. I love having the thrusters on the runner. You can stutter step and juke players out like crazy. I think it's a lot of fun. And the other one was sliding, which kind of changed everything about the way players tank. We actually used slide for a while because we couldn't take it out of the game. But the recent years, we just turned the settings all the way down to 0 to take that out. And I think that's the best version of Halo 5 we had. So I'm worried about asking for something new because of how drastically it can change the game. Hell, as long as we can turn things off, throw anything at us. I'm not creative enough to think of something.
Fair enough. I have to get some of the other cohorts to chime in and see if they have anything at some point.
Someone's gonna come up with something really
wacky,
something really radical, and there's gonna be a small handful of players who are gonna want it, are gonna want to do it.
And then the rest will just be like, no, get rid of it.
There's gonna be plenty of players like that, and they're like I said, big boost in player numbers when we went back to Halo 3, and that's as simple as it gets. It's just no passing, no thrusters, no sprint. I just want a hammer and a sword. Let's go.
Laird in the mixer chat saying dual wielding hammers.
Oh Jesus! Trails would be outrageous.
Double launch.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Launch players across the map on complete accident.
I remember launching in Halo 3. That was interesting.
I tell you what, I played a league game yesterday and we got launched every single time we got scored on. It was launches. It was so embarrassing. It's when you're just not used to the game and you go against players who lived on launching, you're just completely outmatched. Yeah, it was. They played a different game than we did.
And those launches are hard to defend against too.
It is. The best defense is we can't stop them from launching. Let's just try to launch them to the side. Mm-hmm. It's tough. It's something I still need to learn myself, and I've been playing for a long time.
I never quite got the hang of it. I know there were a couple times where I would run for the ball and I would have people launch me, and I got a couple scores that way. But if you ever want to see how technical a Grifball game can get, definitely recommend watching the finals of this season, because you will see some really intricate play. I'm sure.
We are tracking highlights this season. I'll get those montages out there. We can show you guys how special the launches can be and how creative players get with using the gravity settings. It's I like to compare it to Rocket League on a much smaller scale, because if anyone's ever seen professional Rocket League players play, they're never on the ground. They're just flying through the air. The ball doesn't hit the ground ever. It's just an entirely different game, and it is so much more fun.
Wow, never hitting the ground. That's something I can't even begin to fathom the coordination you need for all that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Probably launching launchers to launch the ball.
No, it doesn't get that. We're not at that level. The game is it's a little too random for that, but
everyone's just floating around from gravity hammer swings.
there are some players that just live in the air. Don't even bother trying to run up against.
Just float.
Yep.
That's nuts. Is there anything else you want to mention about Play Grifball specifically, or about this season of the AGLA?
Not really, other than just want to get it out there that Grifball is still going, and we just, if anyone just wants that nostalgia kick, we are here. We have custom games going on almost every single day. The community is still hanging around. It's bigger now than it was 2 years ago, and don't be afraid to come and show up, and we can show you the ropes and show you a different way to play it.
Very nice. Well, where can people find Grifball?
Grifball.com. Let me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Twitter, Facebook, Discord.
Facebook,
Yeah.
Twitter. Those are probably the best places to go. Facebook and Twitter. We have pages there, and do not forget to join the Discord, or you're gonna be kind of lonely. That's where everyone is.
I said it for us, and I think it's kind of the same for a lot of Halo communities, but Discord's kind of like the new forums.
It really is, yeah. They kind of killed the forums as soon as the Discord server was made, and no, Laird, we're not on MySpace. I'm sorry.
And no, we're not on MySpace either. Facts and 8-track. Oh, jeez.
It's not that old.
No, thankfully. Well, very nice. Thank you for telling us a little bit about the season and play Grifball. It's been a long time since we've had any Grifball presence on the podcast, so it's nice to finally have someone back in here to talk Grifball. So thanks for helping fill that role for us.
Oh, thanks for inviting me on. It was a great time.
And where can people find you specifically?
Me specifically, you can find me on Xbox Live or Twitter. Twitter is where I spend most of my time, at Rage More Nerd, no spaces.
Very nice. Well, thanks again for coming on. Hopefully it won't be multiple years before we have some Grifball presence back on the show.
Just send a call my way. I'll be there.
All right, cool. So we didn't have a podcast topic for this week. I think we did. We may have mentioned it on the last episode. I'm not sure if we did or not, but in case we didn't, for the next week's topic, what we're going to have is, because of some of the updates that have recently come to the MCC, what additional features would you, our listeners, like to see included in future updates for MCC? This should be things that they have not already announced, like the updates to the post-game content report and the file browser. So if there's something new that you would like to see added to MCC while they're still doing touch-ups on it, what would you like to see included? So that's going to be our topic for next week. Since I will be out of town next week, we're probably going to be doing the podcast on Friday, either right before or during Fragging Friday, because I will be back Friday afternoon. And I don't want to necessarily skip another episode since we skipped one last week. So we're going to try to still keep one on for next week. Since I forgot to mention this earlier, some playlist updates. Halo 2 BR Slayer is now out. Roaming King is in for Halo 5 Social. And Warzone Turbo is here. Yes. I've already played a game of Warzone Turbo, so I will be playing that a little bit this weekend before I head to St. Louis. We also have a little bit of an update from our Spartan company. We're not going to be seeing any new commendations done for a little while, but just to kind of give us an idea of where we're at, the next closest one we have is Bodyguard, which is protecting a teammate, and we still have about 2,700 of those to go. From downtown, which is killing an enemy Spartan from long distance, we have just under 1,000 of those to get. And then the third closest one is Lawnmower, which is killing an opponent by hitting them with a vehicle, basically splattering them. And that one we have about 1,300 to go there. So those are our closest 3 Spartan commendations that we have. And the 2 at the bottom are still the same 2 at the bottom that they'll always be at the bottom. So nothing new there. The next loot crate has another basically 2 weeks to be ordered. It's the Cat Crate, which is themed tech. It is available for pre-order until February 15th at 9 p.m. Pacific time, which is midnight Eastern time. If you are interested in getting the crate and you don't have a subscription currently, then you can go on over to podtacular.com/loot crate and use the code Podtacular at checkout to get $3 off of your crate. Also, make sure you check out the podcast network, which unfortunately has dwindled down to just 3 podcasts now. Us, Critscast, and How to Murder Time. I believe the website's still under redesign, but you can find Critscast over at critscast.com. It doesn't look like their feeds are working for the podcast, so the only way to actually go get latest episodes of Critscast is to watch their VODs on Twitch. So just search for Critscast on Twitch, and that'll get you the latest episodes. And then How to Murder Time is a podcast that is done on YouTube, so you can find them over on howtomurdertime.com. Also, make sure you check out the Halo Hub. It's a Discord for Halo content creators to share content that they make or share content from other creators that they enjoy. If you want to check out more about that, you can head on over to thehalohub.com. For game night this week, it's MCC. Just double checking that with GT.
Yes.
Is that right? MCC. That'll be taking place on Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we also have our achievement streams that I host on Sundays at 10. We will be doing that this weekend. I will not be streaming with the wife, but we'll the following weekend most likely, and that's Tuesdays at around 7 p.m. on my personal Mixer channel. And then our podcast we record on Thursdays live across all social media and streaming platforms, which includes Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter / Periscope. And that is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Anything else that we have, you can just search for Podtacular. We have our Spartan Company. We have our Xbox Club. We have our Discord server as well. Podtacular.com/Discord will take you there. And I'm sure there's a couple other things I've missed, but basically just search for Podtacular and you'll find it. You can also find Podtacular on your favorite podcasting subscription services such as iTunes, Google Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. So thank you for downloading the show. If you have a chance to come drop by one of our live streams and interact with us while we stream or play Halo. And that'll be it for us tonight. Thanks again to Rage More Nerd for coming over and telling us a little bit more about Play Grifball and the latest season of the AGLA. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Glad to do it again.
Very nice. We will definitely have you on again. And that'll wrap it up for the podcast tonight. It is quite a long one, so thanks to listening through it if you made it this long. And we will catch you all next week. Keep on fragging Griff.
Don't hurt me.
He deserved it.
Most certainly did.